Right, and so Calvin, it's yours.
Okay, hello everyone. Once again, today is part 2 of our nice little fireside chat, I should say. So let's see, what did we go over last Sunday? Now I know as I said before, I blathered on a little bit last time, but that's fine, I guess.
How your family observed Martin Luther King Day, and you paid the I Have a Dream speech all day long.
Yeah.
And the letter from the Birmingham jail all day long.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, and that thank you so much. That's part of it. So we went over that. We also went over the history behind Martin Luther King Day, and also we went over Juneteenth and the history behind that, and a few, let's say, personal views on the matter as well. So today we are going to go over. We're going to try to go over, if we don't go over time, we're going to go over Kwanzaa and Black History Month today. Now, Kwanzaa, this is something that I love to celebrate. Now, Kwanzaa is more so goes on the days of December 26th and ends on New Year's Day, January 1st. As you can tell from the dates that I gave you, starts on December 26th. It's not supposed to impede on celebrations of Christmas, but we'll get into all of that. So once again, like I said, Kwanzaa, annual African American and Pan-African holiday celebrating and observing the cultures of peoples of the African diaspora. Now, mostly celebrated by Black Americans, however, it is in place to celebrate the peoples of the African diaspora because we do quickly forget that there are people of other parts of the world that are Black. So not just Black Americans, and not even the peoples of Africa, the continent of Africa. We have to remember there are British Black people. There are Black people like in France, Russia, Japanese Black people in the Caribbean. Also, of course, we know our Afro-Latino brothers and sisters as well. So that's the whole purpose of making sure that we understand it's the entire experience and culture of the African diaspora. Now, this holiday was created by Dr. Karinga in 1966. Currently, Dr. Karinga is a professor of chair of Africana Studies at California State University, Long Beach. And when he made this, he was a doctoral student in the mid-1960s. Now, during the mid-1960s, there was more so of a cultural revolution. Now, a lot of us may know more so the peace movement, a lot of the hippie movement, the flower power movement, things of that nature. Well, for Black people, you more so saw the Black Power movement. The Black Power movement now, when I was taught, and I'm going into Black History Month, but when I was taught Black history, the image that we had when it came to the Black Power movement was more so militant guys and berets marching, more of like the threatening image of Black Americans. When I stepped back and actually started learning outside of school about the Black Power movement, you started to see that it didn't really stop. It kept going. Now, of course, it's not as the images that we associate with it now. The huge afros and everything, like, well, no, the afros are still here. Yes, I love them. But for the most part, like, you know, but actually the time period that is associated with the images of that time period, not exactly here anymore. However, still today, you see us especially Black millennials pushing for positive imagery of African Americans. Black beauty, things of that nature, just trying to push back against that criminalization and that downplay of natural Black image, Black beauty, and Black culture in general. So the holiday focuses on what it means to be African or of the African diaspora and what it means to be human in the fullest sense. Kwanzaa is actually Swahili for first, and it's inspired by the first fruits celebrations. This is usually celebrations that are had in Africa. So Dr. Karinga, when he read about that or saw that, he tried to to use that as fertile ground for a celebration to talk about Black culture. And he came up with, like I said, Kwanzaa as a way of life on a daily basis by reflecting on the past and in order to understand the present and plan for the future. Now, some people have asked me, why do I celebrate Kwanzaa? Because Black history. Well, Kwanzaa is a time, it's more, Black History Month is, what do we like to say? Black History Month is for you all, Kwanzaa is for us. That's kind of like the understanding. That's kind of the understanding. Black History Month is more so for people to be educated on Black culture. For Kwanzaa, that's not saying that non-Black people are not welcome to Kwanzaa, but Kwanzaa is more so of a personal in-house celebration. I would think, imagine the home part of Christmas. You know, like we do have our public celebrations of Christmas and everything. We come to church, we go to plays, we gather around with the rest of the city, with the rest of the town, we light the Christmas tree and everything. But for the most part, when we think of Christmas, we think of the family dynamic of it. Well, with Kwanzaa, that's pretty much more so what it is. We have our public, especially for the first day of Kwanzaa, like usually organizations, they'll have like that first day lighting of the unity candle. We'll get into that later on. And then, and more so of the more official way that Kwanzaa is celebrated. But then from there, from day 2 and sometimes on to the end of it, usually it's more so of an in-home thing with the family that you have, or by yourself, or whoever is going to celebrate it with you. So the 7 principles of Kwanzaa are centered around, and this is done in order because this is an order to it. Umoja, which is unity. Kujichagulia, which is self-determination. Ujima, meaning collective work and responsibility. Ujama, cooperative economics. Nia, meaning purpose. Kuamba, meaning creativity. Imani, meaning faith. Now, the way that Kwanzaa is usually, and now I wish I could do like a cool setup right here, but the way that Kwanzaa is usually done, you have the table in the center of the home, usually the living room of course, and what they'll do is that they'll have crops that first you'll have like a nice a blanket that's spread out on the table, then you'll have crops. The placemat is mekeka, and you'll have muhindi, which are ears of corn. The ears of corn represent fertility and the future of the family that comes through the children. Keep in mind, children are an extremely important part of the Kwanzaa celebration. And then Mishuma Saba are the 7 candles. And that they're put into the kinara. The kinara is the candle holder. This is what I have back at home. And the 7 candles, usually in the center, it's a black candle. On the sides are 3 red candles, and on the other side is 3 green candles. And then you have the unity cup in the middle of the whole thing. And then you have zawadi, which are gifts that are given. Now, these gifts, they're not Transformers or more so these gifts that are given, they're more of educational. Say for instance, a gift that was given to me for Kwanzaa when I first started celebrating the richest man in Babylon. That was the gift that was given to me for Kwanzaa. So more so, they're intended to symbolize and encourage growth and success rather than like pleasure or whatever, anything like that. Or that sounds so bad, but yeah. Now, I think the most important thing that people need to realize is that Kwanzaa is a non-political and non-religious holiday. It's not supposed to, because once again, remember, Kwanzaa is for the celebration of peoples of the African diaspora. Now, mostly we understand, like, the Black church, which is Christian, but of course, not every Black person is Christian. So we have to work around everybody's holidays. And so that's why it was set up from the 26th to the 1st. Now, I think it was the 26th to the 1st just to make sure that is illuminated that people, especially Black Christians, because it was made in Black America, Black Christians can celebrate it as well. So with me personally, the way that I am all for Christmas. Now I'm slowly like making sure that I'm setting up my kinara and everything and my candles. But I'm all about Christmas and everything like that. Then as soon as the 25th hits, Christmas, love it, everything like that. As soon as the 26th comes, then I'm more so focused on Kwanzaa. So on each night, and this is the procedure that goes, on each night of the 7 nights, the family gathers, like I said, near the table, and the table is spread, and the African cloth is put out, the mat is put out, the kinara is set up, the 7 candles are set up. And then, once again, like I said, the candles that come, the colors are extremely important. They're symbolic. A lot of the stuff is symbolic. Black is for the people, red is for the struggle, and green, of course, is for the future and the hope of the struggle that comes, Let's see. The black candle, on the first day, the way that it goes, the black candle is lit. And then whatever the celebration that you have in your home, you do it. You blow out the black candle. The next night, the black candle, once again, is lit. And then, now this is the part where it depends on what each family does. Me personally, what I do, I light the black candle and on the second night, and then I go over and I light the next candle on the far left. And then each night I'll light the black candle, the candle I lit before, and then the candle next. And I'll keep going and keep going and keep going until all candles are lit. Now, I'm sorry, I should have been particular about that. Black, red, and then green. So, and the reason, once again, like I said, black for the people, for the struggle, the past, and then green on the far right for the future going forward. So that's the reason why I do it like that. But once again, like I said, with every celebration, everybody has their own way of doing it. So there's no there's no specific way that has to be done in order for it to be official. So yeah, all right. So after lighting the candle, the family discusses one of the Nguzo Saba principles. Nguzo Saba principles. Remember when I went back and I said, Moja, unity. Each day has its own principle that it discusses. So, say for instance, on day 1, I will just I will discuss or meditate on the principle of unity and how unity within the Black community. On another day, self-determination, how self-determination on the future affects the Black community and the Black culture. Another day, Nia, purpose. And then there's another day where we talk about finance, which is that's another long discussion. That's another long discussion on wealth and accumulation of wealth and whatnot. And on the final night, like I said, the gifts that are exchanged, the final night is when the gifts happen. So I gave you a roundabout on Kwanzaa. Now, let me tell you what I do. Now, with me, even though Kwanzaa is a non-religious holiday, if you want to, because once again, as I just said, and I said it 1,000 times just now, you can do it the way that you want to, as long as the basic principle is kept. But you can insert different things depending on your faith, things of that nature. Like, so say for instance, like with me, the first day of Kwanzaa that I usually do, after I light the center candle, I say a short prayer. And then, because some would say that I'm a musician, like what I like to, very possible. So what I like to do is I have the African American spiritual at home. So I have the keyboard at home. So what I do is I choose a hymn that relates to the day, and I'll just sing it. I sing horribly through it because I'm not Rick. So, and then from there, I have my Bible with me. I'll choose a Bible verse that corresponds. Like say, for instance, with Emoja, like I went with Hebrews chapter 10, verses 24 to 25. Then from there, I'll read a short passage that has to do with the principle of the day. Now, there are many like online because of the day. I'm grateful. There are many online where you have people, professors or anything like that, that will have a short like message for the day. So I'll read through that. I have a more specific website that I use, but like I said, I won't go into that. I'll share it like later on. After that, if you have people with you, like I said, each person will stand and they'll state the reading of the day. And after that, each person will say, you know, how does that reading make you feel? How do you feel that reading can be, maybe from more so the past, how does that reading affect the past? How does that reading affect the present? And how does that reading, what does it state for the future? So, and then after that, I'll sing another hymn, and then blow out the candles.
Oh.
And then after that, that's it. That's my Kwanzaa. That's my Kwanzaa. Now, once again, like I said, now if I was Jewish, then maybe from there, like I would say some scripture passage from the Torah, maybe. If I was Muslim, maybe from there I would say something from the Quran or something of that nature. If I was non-religious, then well, maybe I'll say something else that is profound to me, something else that I would say is sacred to me outside of the religious route of religion, and I've used that instead. So once again, that's Kwanzaa. Now, going back, and I should have mentioned that, going back, when I talked about how kids are important in this, when children are involved in this, a lot of the things that happen, you get kids to do them. So say, for instance, like the lighting of the candle, children do that. The zawadi or whatever, adults, yes, we can do that, but more so it is tailored toward children. So the importance of giving children stuff like I said, like the book, The Richest Man in Babylon, and giving them as their maybe, depending on reading level and everything, something like that, the first gift or whatever, first educational gift or whatever. Like, you know, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be their first gift, but you know, but these are things that and then say, for instance, like the passing of the Unity Cup and all that, more so for children, because once again, that hope, everything is symbolic. Hope for the future. So you have children like heavily involved, especially when it comes to passing down, teaching things of culture and everything like that. So that is Kwanzaa. Does anyone have any questions? Yes. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Kelvin, thank you, and I came in the way. You may have already covered this, but the family is celebrating Kwanzaa 26th. But young children, would they probably have already gone through a traditional Christmas tree gifts under the tree Christmas Eve or Christmas morning, and then the next day or two, here's the Kwanzaa celebration? Is that how that works?
Yeah, pretty much. And that's what I was talking about. Like with, like I said, me personally, basically, like I am a Christmas fanatic. So literally from I was gonna say December 1st, the day after Thanksgiving. Technically July. I literally like I am literally about Christmas. Like I watch Christmas movies. I listen to Christmas jazz all the time. Once I listened to Christmas jazz on the way from an Independence Day celebration. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. So once again, but that's my personal view of it. Like some people are more, they begin to talk about Kwanzaa heavily before the 26th. But once again, that's fine though, that's fine. But like I said, for me personally, like I said, we'll say from after Thanksgiving to December 25th, I'm more so heavily into the Christmas spirit. Then after the 25th, after that, then from there, like it's almost switched into Kwanzaa. Okay, all right. Yes.
Did your mom and dad take you through Kwanzaa from the time you were really little?
No. This is another thing that I think that I should have talked about. Thank you so much for that. Kwanzaa is something, it's not celebrated by everyone. Like once again, when I go back and I talk about all of this stuff with Black culture, we have to remember not every single Black person celebrates or participates in this. So no, my mother and my father, they did not celebrate.
Because it would have started during, they were alive when the guy set it up.
Yeah. So like now, like say for instance, like my mother would maybe like she would love to play like music about Kwanzaa. And like we're not talking about like, like cultural African music, more so like, just like songs, like, if you can think of any like R&B artists or anything like that, they'll make a Christmas song, they'll make a Kwanzaa song as well.
Right.
So my mother will play that kind of stuff. But as far as like the celebration, the candles, the kanata, all that kind of stuff, no, my mother did not do that.
So what inspired you to start doing this yourself?
I would say the very beginning of the Black Lives Matter movement. Now, I know like a lot of people, when they think of the Black Lives Matter movement, they think of George Floyd. That's not the beginning. That's not the beginning. Actually, the murder of Trayvon Martin was the moment that heralded the beginning of Black Lives Matter. Now, I still remember to this day because I was in college. Now, we didn't say Black Lives Matter. It was more so when we would go out to protest for justice for Trayvon Martin. But from there, like Black Lives Matter became organized, and then Black Lives Matter became the chant from there. Now, it took a few years as I went along, but the more I read into it and everything, because I had the same misconceptions about Kwanzaa as well. And I think that that's basically the thing about when it comes to Black culture, especially in this country. It's more so of breaking down what is taught to you and actually understanding what the truth of it is. So when it came to the Kwanzaa, I had that misconception that it was almost like an anti-Christmas kind of thing, which not really my thing, because I'm a Christian. However, then I went back and I actually listened to the speeches by Dr. Karenga and actually read what he wrote. Now, I will be honest, Dr. Karenga, when he first, I don't think he's the most religious guy in the world. And so when he first created, he did have it as an alternative to celebrating Christmas for Black people. But then after a while, I think he softened and he understood that, once again, respect of everybody of the African diaspora and understanding that not everybody is going to want to alternate Christmas. We're going to want to celebrate it. So from there, he said, this is something that is tailored for everybody. So yeah, so like I said, it took me a while. It took me a little while, but I thank God that I switched to it. It has been a great experience, especially for me, getting to know my culture and getting to know and getting to connect with it.
So how many years have you been celebrating it?
Let's see, 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
4 or 5 years.
Interesting.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years. Like I said, once again, even at the beginning of the Black Lives Matter movement, it took a while for me to really research and understand. But
I don't know if you all are familiar with the comic strip Curtis in the paper. I'm a compulsive comic strip reader. And every year, Curtis and his family celebrate Kwanzaa. And what's really nice is now it's going to mean more to me. I'll understand it better. But they also do Easter with the Easter hats all the time and the Christmas. And it's a wonderful comic strip for learning about the Black culture. And it's very funny.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
First of all, I was wondering, you said there was a website. How pervasive is the knowledge of this in the diaspora community? But more important than that, I think the message that I'm hearing, and I think everyone here, is to look at the cultures from which we all have roots and discern what elements of that culture are worth preserving.
For Kwanzaa, I would partially disagree with you on that.
Okay.
Kwanzaa is specifically for the African diaspora.
Yes.
Now, yeah, exactly. Now, it is good to connect. It is good to connect. Say for instance, like those who come from a French background or a German background, or especially like one that is like mostly European white. Yes, I welcome that. Yes, connect with it. And I'm not saying that this is what you were saying. Now, before, I've had people ask, why during Kwanzaa, why can't we during Kwanzaa, why can't we talk about other communities and how that?
No, that's yours.
Yeah. Thank you. Exactly. Like, and I think like, once again, like I said, it just, it highlighted something that was said before.
Well, we can look at it and admire it.
Yeah.
And say, that's really a good thing they have,
Yeah.
but it's yours.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I guess like, I thought to myself from that past conversation that it was, I don't want to say disturbing, but it was kind of one of those things. I was like, okay, like okay, yes, we have. Let's see, we have like what is it, 356? Ooh, my math is bad. 357, 358 days to talk about. We'll talk about other cultures. So yeah, just for those 7 days, the African diaspora and how the principles affect us. Okay, let me take one more so that we can. Yes.
So I guess two related questions. How common is celebration of Kwanzaa in other countries or other areas of the world? And then I'm a little bit surprised, or I'm kind of in wonder, and you've addressed this a little bit, about how this is, I think, a holiday that is supposed to bring this group of people from the African diaspora together. And do you feel, but yet you make it personal, right? So an American Christian celebration of Kwanzaa is going to be different than a European Black Jew celebration.
Yeah.
But I guess I just wonder, you personally, do you feel, because of this holiday, more connected to people around the world, or is it really just for you and your local community? Because we all know, and you've talked about how, a Black American is not a Black European or whatever, right? I mean, I'm reminded of a New Yorker comic I saw a long time ago, where these two white people are walking by a Black person, and one of them says, "Wow, African Americans are so different in England." And so that was stuck with me. And so I'm just wondering, does this make you feel connected to people around the world, or is it really just a local thing?
I think that it can be a combination of both. It can really be. I think like, let's think of it in terms of when it comes to how we are as Americans. From just the general sense as countrymen. Now, we are connected to our local community. Like maybe like, I don't know, the Heights or River Oaks or whatever, we're connected to that. But also, in the sense of being American, we're also connected to us as Texans as well. And even though we as Texans as well, we're still connected with each other. We're also connected being Americans as well. So even though, like, say, for instance, like there are certain things that we will share that someone that lives in Maine probably wouldn't understand because Texas is a whole thing. So, But at the same time though, but even though there is that connection on the local level, because of maybe saying like, I don't know, like the tradition of being American in itself, we can still connect with somebody that's over on the other side of the coast. So it's hard for me to break down exactly or actually the wording of it, but I still do feel connected because once again, like I said, I will, for instance, I will go to my family in the Bahamas. There are family members in the Bahamas that celebrate Kwanzaa. I still connect with them because once again, and I think that having those similarities in the celebration. So say for instance, like if the celebration, I don't know, was completely different, absolutely completely different. Like say for instance, like if me as a Black Christian, I celebrated without the Kanada or without the candles. And maybe like I didn't talk about the 7 principles at all. Then okay, it would be kind of hard for me to connect with a British Black person. However, because we have those similarities, when we say, for instance, we get together and we talk about these things, like now we don't have like a regular Zoom meeting with Black people, but say, for instance, like when we get together and we talk about issues and everything like that, and maybe we talk about Kwanzaa, we do share in that global celebration, those similarities that we have there. But at the same time, yeah, we do revel in our differences and everything. So yes, it is for a local kind of celebration. It's a local feeling, but you still do feel connected on a global scale with everybody else that celebrates Kwanzaa.
Yeah, so just real quick, so this was created by an American.
Yes,
And
yes.
so did it spread quickly across the world, or is it still
Slowly but surely?
Yeah.
Slowly but surely, like with a lot of things, because I think like we have to remember that a lot of the celebrations that we have nowadays have had thousands of years, have had thousands of years. Like because I know like when the corporate idea of Christmas, let's just be honest, the corporate idea of Christmas has been around for what? An American, what, like 150 years?
Yeah.
I would say like it's been around for that long. But the idea of Christmas goes back to what, the Romans? Goes back to the ancient Romans. So a lot of these celebrations have had thousands of years to take hold, take root, and to expand. Kwanzaa has only had 40 years, maybe 50 years. So it's going to take a while for it to expand across the globe. So yeah. Anything?
I
Yeah.
just want,
Yeah,
what
go ahead.
language is it from, all the names for all the?
Swahili.
It is Swahili.
Swahili. Okay, all right. That is Kwanzaa. That took a lot more time. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
On the
Okay.
crash course.
Yeah. It is a crash course.
Any concluding thoughts you want to leave with us?
Okay. I did not get to talk about Black History Month. Black History Month, of course, and of course it's the thing that we're in right now. The history of Black History Month, from its start is the Negro History Month by Carter G. Woodson, and then going into the way that it has been taught, the way that some people would disagree with the way that it's been taught. Now, there's certain people that disagree. There's certain disagreements of it from a conservative side, from a liberal side. There are disagreements of it. Some people do agree with it. I have my own thoughts on Black History Month as well. Because once again, as with any topic, everything is not a good and bad. There's a lot of gray area in the middle that has to be discussed as well. So yeah, so with Black History Month, I'm sorry, I know I took up a lot of time with that right there. But I can come back later on. And
Yay!
I'm sorry, yes.
Calvin, two
Yes.
comments. One comment and one question.
Yes.
This morning in the Chronicle, there is a very good article about rethinking Black History Month
Mhm.
and challenging the anti-critical race theory and saying rather than focus on great names like Obama. Let's focus on things that are less known, but that have a great impact on lives, on Black lives.
Yeah.
And American lives. Read the article, is in today's Chronicle, so it's very, very good. And I don't know if you read it.
I have not read it, but I would say that that's kind of where I was going with that.
Yeah.
I would say that it's nice to talk about the achievements of Black people and to go over that kind of stuff. But if certain things are not discussed, say for instance, like how the past has reverberated into the future, that can really be a detriment to the purpose of Black History Month in the at least at its origin. So yeah, but that isn't for another day though. That's for another day.
He's gotta go.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I gotta go. I can do one more.
Is it offensive for people that are not Black to participate in Kwanzaa and other events? If I'm trying to be supportive and to be an ally,
Okay.
what is that? How do we?
I would
how do
say-
do that?
I would say that this is okay. Now, once again, this is where people really differ on opinions and everything. Once again, the Black community, it's not a monolith, so we have different opinions on stuff. I would say that it's fine. It depends on where your heart is when you do it. Not speaking more so on you. Now, I know like some people, when they publicly do things, like, it's more so of an outward facade. Like, like say for instance, like when it comes to being an ally for a marginalized group, there's a difference between being an ally for your own self-benefit versus actually being an ally to actually benefit the marginalized group itself. Now, if the heart is in the right place and actually to do it, and once again, in order to actually like to talk about it. Another thing too, and it's hard to do it, and the reason why I think about people of non-Black origin talking about Black Kwanzaa is because it really helps to have a Black voice there to speak on their experience and on their culture as well. Now, if you want to, that's fine. That's fine. It's just that I would say that that there are going to be pitfalls to doing it without Black people. So yeah, but like I said, if one does it out of respect, I wholeheartedly welcome it. I wholeheartedly welcome it. I think it's fantastic.
Children, exposing children.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is a celebration.
Right.
It is for this,
Yes.
and this is
Yeah.
Diwali, this is
Yes.
that.
Yes, and and so that's why I say definitely yes. Yes, that I would say it's fine. I would say fine. Now, once again, like I said, there are people that are a little more. Yeah, a little bit more, just a little bit more. But hey, that's once again, I say it's fine to celebrate it. It's fine. All right, all.
Great.
Record of in-person Thanks, everybody. Bless Sunday, everybody online.
Well,